Hi, welcome to my July wrap-up. All the books I read in July. I read 8 this month, which is, I think, better than last month by like 1, but it's still an achievement. So, the first book I read in July was Secret of the Sirens by Julia Golding. This was about like sirens, so that's cool, like fantasy-like. I liked it. And also had like the map at the beginning of where they live, and that's always cool too when they include like, you know, a fake map of the fictional setting and the story, and that's cool. I did find that it was kind of slow at times, and this is a series, but I don't think I'll be continuing it because I just didn't, I guess, like it enough. Next book I read was No One Else Can Have You by Kathleen Hale. This was a reread and I still really liked it. And it's like, it's very like kind of comical. It has like funny, like the person who's telling the story is like humorous, so I like that part. And also the title, No One Else Can Have You. That sounds very intriguing. I don't really understand why it was called that because I don't think it really had anything to do with the title, but like I said, it's intriguing, so maybe that's why. Also the cover, which I don't have to show you, it was really cute. It had like, it looked like it was like a knitted sweater. Like, it was like knitted, like, looked like it was made of yarn. It was really cute. And also it's like, it was like a mystery, but it wasn't too much of a mystery that I didn't like it. It was just like, just suspenseful enough. And also I found out that there's a sequel to this, so I definitely want to get my hand on that. The next book I read was The Midwich Cuckoos by John Wyndham. I wanted to read this because I really like the movies, or yeah, movies, there's two I guess. I didn't think, I did think that the movie was kind of better than the book. Also it's kind of slow at times, and also it's science fiction, which I'm not really into, but and then also I would like to reread his other book, The Chrysalids, so I'd like to get to that at some point. Next book I read was A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. This is like a reread, but it's like the second one I want to get to because I really read Macbeth, or tried to. It was hard to get through. I like this one because it's like dreamy and full of fairies and all that kind of stuff. Dreamy. Dream. Anyway. The one that I read though, it wasn't like told like the play, it was like told like in like novel form, so that made it like easier to read. So I wonder if I could get novel forms for all of Shakespeare's plays, because I definitely like to read more. Especially I want to reread Romeo and Juliet, so it's like next on my list. I also had wonderful illustrations, which I can't show you because I don't have it with me, but they were pretty. The next book I read was The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. I wanted to read this because I like the two old movies, one from the 30s and one from the 40s. And it was short too, so it was like a novella, so it was short. Didn't take that long, I guess. Some parts were boring. I feel like it would have been more interesting if it had been told through the perspective of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And this book that I got with the edition, it had like other stories from Robert Louis Stevenson, but I didn't bother to read them because I wasn't really into Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, so I didn't like feel like reading the other ones. Maybe sometime, I don't know. The next book I read was Cyrano de Bergerac by Edmond Rostand. I grabbed this book because it was in French, so I could like, you know, do French practice. But it was kind of a struggle, so if I could find Cyrano de Bergerac in English, I would like to reread it. So that's on my list too. The next book I read was The Lightkeeper's Daughter by Iain Lawrence. And it was alright. I did think the setting was cool because it was set on an island, with a lighthouse obviously. And then the writing is lush. That's what it said on the cover, and I agree. It was very like dreamlike, and which I'm into, so that was good. And then it also had a kind of like fantasy element included, which I didn't know was going to be in there, so that was an interesting surprise. And then the last book I read in July was Under the Wide and Starry Sky by Nancy Horan. This is a reread, and I still like it. It's pretty funny because this is about Robert Louis Stevenson and his wife and their life together, and I also read his real book, so it's kind of a coincidence. Um, this was historical, obviously, though I liked historical. You guys know that. I found that the writing really flowed nicely and was fast paced, and that's always a pleasure to find. And then Nancy Horan has another book about Frank Lloyd Wright and his wife, which I would like to read as well. So that's also on my list, my never-ending list. Anyways, that was July. 8 books, and I'll see you later.